Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Unity of Hagerstown. We are so glad that you are here with us this morning in person and in the ethers. Let's stand if you're able, and we'll come together in one song. Different worlds we are drawn together. In our own way we can pray together. Together we are strong. I see God in you. You see God in me. One path, one vision, one family. Come together, dreams and hands we will join together to build a place we can grow together. Together we are whole. I see God in you. You see God in me. One path, one vision, one family.
One song. Woo! Thank you, Brent and Patty. Beautiful opening. Please be seated. And welcome indeed to Unity of Hagerstown celebration service. Whether you're joining us in person, like Patty said, or virtually, we are glad that you are here. We are also honoring Hispanic Heritage Month, and we have a quote here from Ricky Martin. I just see. Who's that from? Every day begins like a blank chalkboard on which each one of us can write the poem of our present and our dreams of the future. What are you writing on your chalkboard? So let's begin, as we always do, with an opening prayer. And I invite you to settle in, become comfortable. Let any tension recede, any worries be set aside for this moment, as we experience the presence and the power of the one life, the peace and the harmony that is within. And we take this time now in this sacred activity of prayer to remember our brothers and sisters in the Middle East, in Palestine, in Israel. And we know that within each one is that Spirit of God. That is their true identity. We allow the peace that is within us to be expanded and to include this area and all around the world. We give thanks for this time together in which we can learn and grow, in which we can realize, make real our highest self, make real that peace within. And so it is. Amen. I invite you to join me in our mission statement together. Unity of Hagerstown, a welcoming community, embraces spiritual awakening through affirmative prayer and meditation, creating a positive path of abundant living for all. And now we'll have the reading of the daily word with Sharon Bender. The abundance of the world flows through me. The abundance of the world flows through me. Thank you, Sharon. And now we have another song with Brent and Patty. beautiful song. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And now we have a few moments, which it'll be, to greet our neighbor. And again, not everybody's a hugger, so please check before you go in with that bear hug. And say hello. See how they're doing. Okay. And I'd also like to check in with those online watching us, just to say hello. And if you write something in their comment section, I will certainly get back to you. I thought...
Elephant. Turn the Facebook thing off. Is there a button? Is there...
Why do you want to turn it? So I want to say hello, give a shout out to Cheryl and to Ann. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being so patient with us as our mics run out of batteries and we have to shift them. So I'm not sure you heard the daily word, but we're glad that you are here. And if you hear my voice, please be seated. If you hear my voice, please be seated, my friends. If you hear my voice, do a little dance. No. Just thought I'd shake it up a little bit. Okay. So last week we began a series based on the 5 Unity principles, the 5 principles that Unity teaches. Unity doesn't really have a whole lot of dogma. In fact, I would say it probably has no dogma. These principles are suggestions. They say, this is what we have found to be true. Take it or leave it. This is for you. I just rhymed. A great start here. So our first principle, our foundational principle is, of course, God is absolute good, everywhere present. God is all that is. In the beginning, God. This is the foundation for not only Unity's teachings, but for our very life. The unifying field of love and intelligence of which we are a part. We move now to our second principle, which is humans are made in the image and likeness of God and therefore are also inherently good. That may be a tough one to look at with recent events. But there is an aspect of the divine within each of us that we can call it the Christ consciousness, we can call it Buddha nature, we can call it Atman. Whatever, we can call it spirit, we can call it divine love, it doesn't matter. It is that part of us, our higher self, our true self, that is connected to all that is, the very essence of God. I gave you kind of like a little jingle to remember the first principle. There is no spot where God is not, last week, right? So if we think of that, there is no spot where God is not. There can't be just this spot here where God is not. God is everyone else, but not here. God is within all. All the wisdom, all the understanding, all the prosperity and potential, the source is within you. I read of a man in Virginia who dreamed one night of lottery tickets. So he woke up the next morning, went down to the store, and played those numbers, and sure enough, he won. There is something within us that is connected to much more than just our ego, much more to our intellect as well. It is now, not everybody's going to dream of winning lottery tickets. However, we all have access to the wisdom of the universe within. We have this imprisoned splendor, as Browning put it. We are all divine in essence. Our souls came here for a human experience, to learn and to grow, to learn how to express spirit in our daily lives. But too often we get enmeshed with the details of life. Ellen Davenport asks, what if it were possible to rise above such human travails and live effortlessly with an attitude of love and compassion for yourself and others? What if you could hold on to thoughts and feelings so positive that only good would be drawn into your life? What if you could clear out the debris of the past and any fears about the future so thoroughly that Spirit could shine from within you and light up the world? This is the spiritual journey. Learning to rise above the human condition, learning to be that love and compassion no matter what, learning to let go of the past, learning to hold on to thoughts that uplift, that are life-affirming. This is our journey. Davenport continues, it's living from the Christ within, the spiritual journey, making decisions from the higher self, loving with the unconditional, inexhaustible energy of the divine, contributing to the well-being of the planet. It is to express effortlessly who we truly are. This is our soul's purpose, to rediscover and express who we are. Our elder brother Jesus said, "It is written, know you not that you are God's," from the Hebrew Scriptures. To claim divine identity, though, may feel really uncomfortable for us. But how could we be anything less if we believe that God is all there is? Present everywhere. Even where I stand, I am an expression of the divine. I may not remember all the time. That's the human experience. But I am regardless. God is standing forth as each one of us. God is not only guiding, providing, comforting, healing, loving you, but is expressing through you here on earth. God is within you just as you are within God. I don't know about you. When I think of that, though, it feels like there's a certain amount of responsibility that comes with that. When we realize that God is expressing through us, what might we do to make this world a better place? You know, it's never too late to make a difference. I fully believe that. I think it was probably 2 years ago, I introduced this community to Olga Murray. She found her purpose right after she retired. She was then 96 when I read this article. In 30 years prior, she had left a legal career, and she took a vacation to someplace she'd never been before. She went to Nepal on a whim, and she fell in love with the country. She fell in love with the children. They held her hand, they laughed, they were so welcoming and loving. They all wanted to go to school, but at that time, there weren't enough schools around. She knew then and there that she would help educate the children of Nepal. And she started a project born out of this passion, the Nepal Youth Foundation. It's a nonprofit that combats poverty, builds schools, and rescues girls who have been forced into servitude. The nonprofit has built 72 hospitals, helped educate at this time more than 60,000 children, and has saved 13,000 girls from service. Olga is now 98 and still going strong. In her 80s, she did a TED Talk. It is never too late, my friends. She says she doesn't think about stopping as long as she has her marbles and she's healthy, she's going to continue. Now, we probably have all heard the analogy of our divinity. We are in God like waves are in the ocean, having the same energy, being distinct yet made up of precisely the same attributes as the ocean. We are not the whole ocean, but we are of the same composition. Jesus, our elder brother, and other spiritual leaders could be likened to a tsunami, okay? Yes. Eckhart Tolle says, when you are in touch with that dimension within yourself, and being in touch with it is your natural state, not some miraculous achievement, all your actions and relationships will reflect the oneness with all life that you sense deep within. This is love. Being in touch with your true self, being in touch with that presence of love, that presence of wisdom within. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, wrote, to perceive the true character of God and his attributes, and then to grasp our relationship to him is to realize that his attributes are our attributes. His power is our power. His character is our character. Now, while I may not like the use of the male pronoun here, I agree with what Fillmore is saying. And actually, this was written in the late 1800s, early 1900s. I don't think the language caught up with what he was trying to convey, because I really don't believe Fillmore thought of God as a gender. God was not a person. He did not anthropomorphize God. God is beyond gender. God is unlimited as we are unlimited. We are not limited in life, bless you. We have existed with the Father from the beginning, and our soul's journey on this earth plane is to remember who we are and to live from that remembrance, that divine essence, our very core. It's as if we were asleep and we are slowly waking up. Myrtle Fillmore, Charles's wife and the other co-founder of Unity, says, the soul must be awakened, brought to a realization of truth, and encouraged in the righteous use of all the God-given faculties and powers. Sometimes we are awakened by a life event, the cosmic 2x4. Sometimes we're awakened in walking in nature. Sometimes it's from what somebody's told to us, or a song that we heard. Rumi tells us humankind is being led along an evolving course. And though we seem to be sleeping, there is an inner wakefulness that directs the dream and that will eventually startle us back to the truth of who we are. There's a fairy tale I heard about a young maiden long time ago in a small village that was being terrorized by a dragon. And the elders of the village said, well, we've got to do something. Why don't we marry the dragon to this maiden? And so she caught wind of it. She went to the wise old woman there and says, what am I going to do? This is what they're planning. And the wise woman said, well, get as many wedding dresses as you can and just wear layer after layer. Put as many as you can on. So she did. And then she ended up, after the wedding, in the dragon's lair. Is that what you call it? I don't know what you call it. The dragon's lair, and the dragon's like, my dear, I think it's time for us to consummate this marriage. And he suggested, why don't you take off your wedding gown? And the maiden said, well, I will take off one layer if you take off a layer. And he said, okay. So she took off her wedding gown, and he shook or shaked or whatever he had to do to take his scales. He released his scales. And then he sees another wedding gown that she's got on, and the same thing happened. She took off a layer, he took off a layer. And this went on until finally there was nothing left of the dragon. But in his place, as is the way of fairy tales, was, of course, a handsome young prince. Got to have a happy ending. However, this speaks to me of that imprisoned splendor within. We put on these scales, this armor to defend ourselves, to not be vulnerable. We put on fear, we put on anger, we put on everything else. We hold on to pride so that we don't allow our true self to shine. We may get that wake-up call to start shedding layers, as I said, in many different ways. And that may begin a search for us. We may be looking at different books, talking to different people, life coaches, whatever. And this is all good. This is all good. But it's through the practice of connecting to that presence within that we learn who we are. The higher self, learning to trust the guidance from that inner wisdom, and learning to love with unconditional, inexhaustible love, that the soul begins to realize the light that it is and blossoms. Many of you know I had a wake-up call in my 30s. I was recently divorced, working 2 jobs. It was not fun. Young son to take care of. And I realized it was not sustainable. I had to do something. Something had to change. And so I went church hopping, or shopping, if you will. And, you know, there were very many beautiful communities out there, but they just didn't feel quite right. And then I ended up at Unity in Frederick, and it felt like I was coming home. I learned that we have each been given everything we need within, all the resources we need within in order to thrive. And we access this through practicing the presence, connecting to our true self. We all have some experience of this higher self. Davenport tells us every human being knows this self already, at least to some extent. It is the inner witness that watches your life unfold and is conscious of your existence. It is the intuitive nudge that prompts you to take an unexpected turn in life, even if you ignore it, and that propels you to be more and better. It is a still small voice that is sometimes as difficult to distinguish as a whisper at a rock concert, more sensed than heard, and yet persistent. This awakening soul longs for many things, but one thing it longs for is community. I was so appreciative of our opening song, Patty. Thank you. According to Davenport, the evolutionary drive for humans is no longer to adapt our body to the conditions on the outer. The drive is one of consciousness. We are being invited to be more loving, to be more kind, to be more compassionate, to be the peace in the world. And this may mean surrendering, letting go of who we think we are, the stories we tell ourselves that we're the party girl, we're the smart one, the pretty one, the sick one, the thin one, the fat one. It doesn't matter what we tell ourselves. We are not that. We are more than that. Letting go to discover who we truly are. Letting go of everything also that we think we know of God so that we might experience that spirit and discover the truth of our being. Imelda Shanklin tells us, you never will know your true identity until you let the mind of God instruct you as to what you are. Identity with God does not take away individuality. It enhances individuality and gives you character superlative. It does not take away personality. It purifies and beautifies personality. It does not take away your joy of life. It refines your joy and increases it. So without this experience, we only really have intellectual knowledge of who we are, of God, of Spirit. We might understand intellectually that we are this expression of God, but we may be also quicker to forget it, quicker to dismiss it, to discount it. With each experience of Spirit within informing us that we are love, each experience brings out a little bit more trust and faith and belief that we are love, that we are peace, that we can trust this inner wisdom within. I invite you to affirm with me. Together, I am an expression of unlimited spirit. We're going to move into a time of meditation. This will be about a 10-minute meditation. It's going to begin with a guided portion, followed by a quiet portion, and we'll end up with Patty and Brent singing a beautiful song to prolong the experience, I think. So let's go ahead and get comfortable. Closing your eyes if you like, adjusting your position as needed. Begin paying attention to your breath. doing a body scan and noting any places that you may be holding tension, and then just taking a breath directed at that spot, and with the exhale, release the tension. As we quiet our thoughts and calm our hearts and rest our bodies, I'm going to read a portion from A Course in Miracles. Today we pass illusions as we seek to reach to what is true in us and feel its all-embracing tenderness. Its love which knows us perfect as itself. Its sight which is the gift its love bestows on us. We learn the way today. It is as sure as love itself to which it carries us. Simply do this. Be still and lay aside all thoughts of what you are and what God is. All concepts you have learned about the world, all images you hold about yourself. Empty your mind of everything it thinks it is either true or false, or good or bad, of every thought it judges worthy, and all the ideas of which it is ashamed. Hold on to nothing. Do not bring with you one thought the past has taught, nor one belief you ever learned before from anything. Forget this world. Forget this course. And come with holy, empty hands unto your God. In the silence. as we continue to sit restfully, allowing gratitude to come into our hearts, I invite you to just allow the next song to wash over you. I invite you to join me in our offertory prayer together. We affirm infinite abundance and prosperity continuously flowing into and within this ministry through spirit and expressing through infinite channels. And we affirm the wisdom, understanding, and discernment in all matters as Spirit guides us along our path. And we have another song.
Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. Thank you for my life, Spirit, thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit, thank you for my life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit, thank you for my wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit, thank you for my wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, we do have a few announcements. Choir practice immediately after the service, after our chat and chew, snack and chat, whatever you want to call it. Coffee social time. And if you don't have to be a professional singer, Patty will certainly lead you, invite you into singing to the best of your ability. I'm sure of that. Yeah. And then on the 18th, we continue with our class on the principles of unity, principles, not dogma. We changed the time there to 5:30 because we had such a great discussion. We wanted more time. So it's going to be at 5:30 now, and then at 7, it's like 7 o'clock will be the midweek service after it, focusing on the second principle. Men of Unity are meeting at 6 p.m. this coming Thursday. There's drumming, there's meditation. I wish I could go. It's all good, though, because we have a women's retreat coming up. And so, the women's retreat, if you wanted to come, we still have room for you, particularly if you wanted to come as a commuter. Just there are flyers out in the foyer, and you can let me know if you wanted to do that. Because of the women's retreat, I won't be here next Sunday. Paula's doing platform, and we have a guest speaker, Reverend Mark Hicks, dynamite speaker. He's very good. He is sure to give you plenty to think about. And our musician will be Joe Genorio. Okay, so it's going to be a good service. And again, I wish I could be here, but the cleanup day for St. Mark's was not held Saturday because of the rain. They have moved it to the 28th at 10 p.m. And on the 29th, we're having our potluck. I had started calling it the Day of the Did potluck because I wanted to honor those who have gone before us. But I understand that the Day of the Did as a title may be a little off-putting to some. But it really is a way to honor those who have passed and who are our ancestors as well. And in Mexico, they do this in part with marigolds, which is why you see this big, beautiful, bright marigold there. It's believed that the brightness and the scent, it's kind of got a musky, kind of distinctive scent with marigolds, all help those who have passed to come back to visit. So, Zion Soup Kitchen, in a couple weeks, I have a sign-up sheet. And just a quick note, the sound bath, which is generally the first Wednesday of every month, is for November only, the second Wednesday of the month. Whew, we got a lot going on here. It's all good stuff. So at this time, I'd like to say goodbye to our beloved Facebook friends. We love you. We see the light that you are. We know that you are a vital part of this ministry. Thank you for all of your contributions and just being you.